Good morning, Pittsburgh, and welcome to Pitt to the Point. I'm Donnie Blackwell.
And I'm Erin Clark. Pitt to the Point is your Emmy Award-nominated weekly one-hour news and magazine program that airs live from the state-of-the-art Pitt Studios.
Pitt to the Point covers everything from the University of Pittsburgh to the City of Pittsburgh, as well as national and international events, news, people, and stories.
We are back with your favorite segments, as well as new features, including weekly live reports about all of our incredible University of Pittsburgh regional campuses.
We also have a new segment called Crossing Over at Pitt. It showcases how different departments and schools at Pitt collaborate on the most innovative teaching in the country.
We'll be joined live by our affiliate college and high school partners to hear what's going on in their schools and communities. And of course, continue to bring you the most up-to-date news from the world of politics, sports, medicine, and entertainment in the city of Pittsburgh and at the University of Pittsburgh.
Since election season is underway, we begin our show this morning with updates on who will be on the presidential ballot in South Carolina.
With each state's race results starting to come in, questions of party representatives for the 2024 elections are beginning to be answered. The South Carolina Republican primary will take place this Saturday, February 24th.
Major candidates on the Republican ballot in South Carolina include former President Donald Trump and Nikki Haley. Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy might also still appear on the ballot if they do not decide to drop out of the race.
With Trump winning Iowa and New Hampshire, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is focused on coming out of South Carolina with a victory in her home state. South Carolina voters can cast a ballot for whoever they want, regardless of party affiliation. The winning candidate will get the state's 50 delegates.
Definitely something to look out for in the Republican race. Also in political news, Vice President Kamala Harris and the EPA Administrator Michael Regan visited Pittsburgh this past Tuesday.
We turn to our political reporter, Natalie Silverman, to discuss more on their new investment in clean, safe water. Natalie?
On Tuesday, Vice President Kamala Harris was right here in the Burgh, where she announced $5.8 billion in funding for clean water infrastructure nationwide.
Since taking office, this visit has marked the VP's 11th trip to the Commonwealth. Harris arrived at Pittsburgh International around noon before traveling to meet with local, state, and federal officials to discuss the importance of clean drinking water. The White House said that this visit was a part of the fourth Investing in America tour by the Biden-Harris administration, which commenced earlier this year. Harris said that more than $200 million in new federal funding is allocated for Pennsylvania, a key state in determining Biden's re-election in November. The funds will be used to replace lead pipes, aging water mains, and storm drains. According to the EPA, PA has more than 700,000 lead water lines still in use, the fourth highest of any state in the country. The Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority has committed to eliminating all lead pipes from its infrastructure by 2026, and they are making substantial progress, being more than halfway towards accomplishing this goal and remaining on schedule for completion. Governor Shapiro revealed a significant investment of $194 million in 28 projects spanning 20 countries, with a specific focus on wastewater and stormwater initiatives just last month.
The Biden administration says that 2 million Americans still live without running water, with tens of millions lacking clean water and sanitation. With almost $6 billion in funding, the Clean Water Infrastructure Bill aims to fix this pressing matter. With Pitt to the Point, I'm political reporter Natalie Silverman. Donnie, Erin, back to you.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Hey, Donnie, what's your favorite animal?
I'd have to say a dog. What about you?
I agree. There's no one I love more than my 3-year-old puppy at home, but I do really like elephants too. Our City Beat reporter, Haley Ryman, has updates on the Pittsburgh Zoo for us. Haley?
Thank you. The Pittsburgh Zoo was closed last Saturday, February 17th, due to recent animal deaths. The most recent of these deaths was popular sea lion Seahawk, otherwise known as Hawk, who passed away on Friday. His death was announced just 2 days ago on Wednesday, February 21st. While it is unclear as to whether his abrupt death led to this closure on Saturday, this death marks the third death within the past 3 weeks. Hawk's passing comes just a day after the passing of Suni, 2-year-old elephant calf. And on February 1st, 31-year-old gorilla Mrithi passed away. He was the first gorilla born at the Pittsburgh Zoo.
As we delve into the latest developments at the Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium, it's with a heavy heart that we reflect on the recent events. The zoo, a beacon of conservation and home to a wide variety of animals, has faced 3 profound losses in the last month, with the unexpected passing of Sunny, the elephant calf, Mrithi, the gorilla, and beloved sea lion Seahawk, seen here singing with his cub, Kai. In the wake of these losses, some pressing questions have emerged, prompting inquiries, particularly regarding the zoo's departure from the Association of Zoos and Aquariums accreditation program, recognized worldwide as the gold standard for zoos. The decision to leave the AZA in 2015 stemmed from disagreements over elephant handling policies. However, since 2021, the zoo has been actively seeking readmission. The Regional Asset District, a key funder for the zoo, expressed sadness over the recent losses but maintained confidence in the zoo's leadership.
Despite this recent closure, the Pittsburgh Aquarium and Zoo has returned to their normal off-season schedule. The off-season continues until the end of March. The zoo is open daily and opens at 9:30 a.m. and the gate closes at 3 p.m. and the park closes at 4 p.m. You can purchase tickets online at pittsburghzoo.org. Earlier in the week, we reached out to the public relations team for a statement but have not heard back yet. For Pitch to the Point, I'm City Beat reporter Haley Ryman. Donnie, Eric?
Thanks, Haley. Nearly 2 years after the collapse of the Fern Hollow Bridge, the NTSB has finally confirmed that the incident was fully preventable and could have been avoided.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Hamady addressed the victims of the event, apologizing on the city's behalf. Hamady tells victims that their injuries, both physical and psychological, should have never occurred.
Her investigators showed in detail how the city neglected the issues of the Hollow Bridge for nearly 2 decades, which resulted in severe corrosion of the bridge's supporting legs.
In reports of over 16 years, the city deemed the bridge to be in poor condition, which could have resulted in immediate closure.
The NTSB also criticized the city for ignoring clogged storm sewer drains, which caused water and debris buildup. This also contributed to the bridge's failure.
The Pitt News continues to provide accurate and timely news to our campus and the Pittsburgh community.
This week, we will be getting a look at how students resist substance consumption on campus, as well as the history of the Oakland bar, Hemingway's.
Let's take a look at their headlines.
130.
Beyond the Brew, Pitt students share sober stories. While college life is typically associated with parties and drinking, some students choose to abstain from alcohol. Family history of addiction, religious beliefs, and personal preference are to name a few reasons why college kids are staying sober.
I think that I did not consider the possible reasons why so many people would just choose to be sober. I mean, college is such a drinking culture that it's almost like the default, and that's what one of the people that I interviewed said. In a college where drinking culture is just the normal culture and what's expected, you don't really consider the alternative, which is to simply not drink. And I also noticed that out of reasons not to drink, most people found it that their friends are the reasons why they drink. So they drink just because everyone else is drinking and not because they want to drink.
This is not the same at all. An oral history of Hemingway's Cafe. Although it's now known for Wednesday trivia and mixed drink pitchers, Hemingway's boasts an interesting past. The beloved local bar was once an upscale restaurant, but a change in owners transformed Hemingway's into the student favorite spot it is today. A guide to the 2024 Student Government Board election. The SGB elections are coming up on February 27th. Students can vote for a presidential candidate and 3 board members. The 3 slates running are the blank slate, the advocate slate, and the envision slate. Voting starts at 8 a.m. and takes place on the SGB website.
a nonprofit organization supporting space research in the tri-state region.
The organization will be collaborating with Pitt's Space Initiative Group to further the research on space medicine, engineering, and science.
For more insight on this collaboration, we turn to our Pitt Beat reporter, Simon Krasner.
Pitt recently partnered with the Keystone Space Collaborative, which is a space research company based in the Midwest region for states like Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. There are three main components of research for this initiative, being space science, space medicine, and space engineering.
130 years ago, a Pitt faculty member invented the thing that's over my shoulder, Aerodrome number 6. It's the second flying machine ever invented. We've continued to do research in small pockets over the decades, but now we are recommitting to working together on some of the hardest problems about going to space.
Last December, 45 faculty members with specialties ranging from dentistry to photonics showed up to a space interest meeting. From that meeting, the Pitt Space Initiative was born. There are three main avenues of space research: space science, space engineering, and space medicine. With Pitt's robust interest in space, the university has joined the Keystone Space Collaborative to further support space-related projects. By joining forces with other consortiums, Pitt hopes to make their mark on the space industry.
We hope that the students of the University of Pittsburgh that graduate will design the systems that'll go to the moon and to space in the future. Professor Langley built a scaled-up thing that did not work. I think part of his problem was that he understood the science, but he didn't understand the engineering because he wasn't an engineer. And so this is a good example of one of the ways that we've learned that we can't just work alone in our fields. We have to work together to understand all of the different parts of what it means to go to space.
So much hope for the future of space research. And here at Pitt, with the new collaboration with Keystone, there are endless possibilities for space research. So who's up there? We'll find out soon. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt Beat reporter Simon Krasner. Donnie, Erin.
Thank you so much, Simon. Have you watched a story today that interests you and want to find out more about what's going on in the city of Pittsburgh? Then visit our website.
That is right. If you want to find out more about the world of politics, medicine, business, and technology, and more, log on to pittothepoint.com. Not only can you see clips from today's show, but you can also read about the topics that interest you and go to all of our social media. Check it out at pittothepoint.com.
Make sure to check us out on all of our other social media platforms, from Instagram, TikTok, and again, you've guessed it, Facebook.
They are all under the name Pitt to the Point. You can see your favorite anchor duo on there, as well as behind-the-scenes footage from our crew.
Coming up, find out which alumni we are shining light on this week, as well as how research on zebrafish is being done right here on Pitt. Look at the development of the heart.
And have you heard about KDKA's new local overnight show hosted by our very own University of Pittsburgh students? This show will bring a new, fresh perspective for the next generation of Pittsburgh radio. You might even hear some familiar voices from Pitt to the Point. We'll be right back.
We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit toward it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt, proud partner of the ACC.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning. Imagine being here in the Commons Room or Nationality Room. What do you think? So what do you think? Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt. Proud member of the ACC. Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning, which, if you can imagine being here in this grand historic building.
I'm a time when I strive for the greatness, yeah. You can't stop me now. I just wanna we running up, we can't lose you. I walk a mile in my shoes, yeah. There's nothing that I can't do, yeah.
What do you think?
Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt.
Here, progress is always in progress. Proud member of the ACC.
Odyssey Radio is the third largest radio company in the U.S., owning 235 radio stations across the 48 media markets.
Odyssey Pittsburgh is home to some of your favorite stations like 100.7 Star, 93.7 The Fan, and Y108.
They broadcast the latest news, sports updates, and everything music and podcast related. Now they'll feature a new student-run show as well.
Welcome to KDKA's Next Take. We are radio redefined, covering everything from local and national news, politics, sports, entertainment, and more through the eyes of a college kid. I'm Jamie Ely.
I'm Margot Rensel.
I'm Ryan Tarabokia.
And I'm the producer, Dylan Foster.
The next generation of Pittsburgh radio is coming with students right here at the University of Pittsburgh.
Our entertainment reporter, Claire Donnellan, is here with some of the stars from KDKA's new overnight show, Next Take. Let's take a look at what they have in store for our new program. Claire?
Thank you, Donnie and Aaron. Good morning. Today I am joined by some of the most pivotal members of a new radio show hosted by some very talented college students. I'm joined by Amy Mock, as well as Dylan Foster, Ryan Tarabokia, Margot Rensel, and Jamie Ely. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us this morning. I'm really excited to hear more about your story. But first off, I know that some of you are very familiar with this studio already. We have Jamie and Margot. They have been on Pitt to the Point in previous seasons, and Dylan has been working currently on the Pitt to the Point team. So now all we need is Ryan to hop on the bandwagon. But so thank you so much. And I wanted to just know a little bit more about your journey and how you all became involved with KDKA's Next Take.
Well, I can start out with that. I began here at Pitt to the Point, like you so eloquently mentioned, Claire. Worked my way up through the program, took all the broadcasting classes I could, and just one day I happened to get a phone call from Kevin saying, hey, KDKA radio really liked your stuff, they'd love for you to work on a show. And honestly, that was probably the best day of this past year in all. And yeah, found out I was going to be co-hosting with Margot and Ryan here, two of the best in the game, and Dylan, one of the best producers I've ever met, would be producing it. We just kind of hit the ground running.
That's awesome. And Amy, can you tell me a little bit more about your experience as executive producer and how you kind of keep this a cohesive group all together?
Yeah, one, it's an honor to be able to work with the students in this program. My boss, our market manager of KDKA Radio, of Odyssey Pittsburgh, came to me a few weeks ago prior and the right time to make it happen, and the right people in the right time were this group right here. He asked if I would be able to executive produce that. So as an executive producer for the program, it's a matter of working with the students to give them the right tools and the right information and the right guidance from our radio station. So the communication right now is meetings, Zoom meetings, texting, emails. We'll be meeting weekly to go over feedback and ideas and thoughts and how we can expand things and do things better and integrate with social media and all of that. So we're just thrilled to have them as part of the program, and it's we're working together. I'm learning from them as much as they're learning from us.
Oh, well, that's really incredible. This opportunity for all of you together is just truly amazing and inspiring to your peers here as well. So I'd also like to know a little bit about, as college students, you already have a very busy schedule. Could you tell me a little bit more about how the timeline and preparation works for when you're creating these broadcasts?
Well, we kind of just find a time where we all have 4 hours to spare, which is kind of hard with all of our class loads, but we've been making it work by shooting more at night. And with, as far as prep goes, we kind of just are always looking for stories, as most journalists are, and just write them down, send them to each other, and then we work together to create a good show and talk about everything.
The group chat that we have, that we send articles to each other, just goes insane throughout the entire day. We're just always being inundated with everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing that you guys are putting this as the cherry on top of all your hard work that you've been achieving so far. And really, it is like a shock. It's so inspirational to see these college students like coming together to form this amazing team. And I was also curious just kind of how the University of Pittsburgh, how has that shaped your perspective on current events and preparing for this role as a radio show team?
Well, I can attest and say, as one of the oldest here, it's in the past 4 years has shown me a plethora of different points of view, from the most liberal to the most conservative, from different, races, different gender orientations and whatnot. People I never would have met back home in Lancaster, and different ideas and viewpoints I never would have met back home in Lancaster. I met here at Pitt because Pitt fosters that inclusive and diverse environment for everybody.
Yeah, and I think, as a freshman, inversely, it's just throwing you right into the fire. I got here, and I know there's other freshmen. First couple of weeks, if you reach out to Kevin, he's going to get you opportunities. You start WPTS. I broadcasted the game in my first couple of months here, which wasn't really something I was expecting. And yeah, they just put you out there. They want you to get as many reps as possible. And I think I can attest to everyone here and everyone who works on this show. It's all about just getting reps in.
Well, Ryan, Jamie, Margot, and Dylan, thank you so much. And Amy, I just have one more question for you.
Sure.
In one word, where do you see this show taking off to?
Growth. They're going to grow. They're incredible right now, but everything is going to grow. The interest from the listeners, the station, it's all going to just keep growing. They're doing an incredible thing, but you always look for let's do more, let's keep it going, let's it's just going to grow. It's started off awesome, and it's going to grow from there.
All right, well, you heard it here. We have this amazing new radio show segment, and if you want to catch it, you can listen to it in the 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. time slot on KDKA's radio. For Pitt to the Point, I'm entertainment reporter Claire Donnellan. Donnie, Aaron.
Thank you so much, Claire. It is so great to see some of our very own taking steps like that.
It's time for our alumni spotlight, and this week we will feature Ron Idoko, who returned to Pitt to help create safe environments for all kinds of students here on campus. Let's take a closer look at his work and goals.
So my name is Ron Idoko. I serve as the Director of Social Innovation in the David C. Frederick Honors College, as well as the Associate Director of the Center on Race and Social Problems. And I'm also the Founding Director of the Racial Equity Consciousness Institute. So when I was an alumni, one of the things that I found so valuable was being able to travel all over the country. I really got an appreciation of just what it meant to really connect with people across all sorts of differences, and that sometimes it's our aspects of our identity that can serve as barriers to progress. And so with that understanding, I really wanted to think more about how can I become more active in cultivating environments where people could thrive and where their identities were not a barrier. One of the things that became more prominent was the issue of systemic racism, realizing that it is a significant challenge in our country. And, as the university made the commitment to being an anti-racist institution, it became clear to me that we really had to focus on building the capacity of our community members, our students, our staff, our faculty to uphold those values, and really puts people in a position to understand that racism is a solvable problem, right? If we understand the very nature of the problem that we are trying to address, and if we work collectively to really think about the world we want to live in and then build pathways.
Later today, Pittsburgh Steelers Mike Logan will be visiting Pitt as a featured guest on Dr. Toya Jones's podcast entitled Healing Overflow with Dr. Toy. They will be discussing Mike's journey to the NFL, mental health, and violence prevention with the youth.
After a college career at West Virginia University, Mike Logan was a second-round draft pick in the 1997 draft by the Jacksonville Jaguars. He then went on to the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2001.
He has remained in the Pittsburgh area for a while as a radio personality, so make sure to check out the podcast. I'll be honest, Donnie, I didn't really know what a zebrafish was before this week, but it turns out Pitt has one of the largest zebrafish facilities in the world.
Yeah, the facility can hold up to 500,000 zebrafish. Let's turn it over to our Medical Minute reporter, Morgan Wilson, for more research with these fish. Morgan?
Thanks, Donnie. The University of Pittsburgh holds one of the largest zebrafish facilities in the world, holding around 11,000 tanks. Researchers use the zebrafish to study how organs grow in the embryo. This research dates back to the late 70s, early 80s, but has expanded widely since then.
Dr. Michael Chang, a professor of cell biology, is the principal investigator who leads the heart research on zebrafish. We were able to see where research is done throughout the stages of the zebrafish.
So the purpose for our research, we're interested in looking at heart development, and we're also looking at heart repair and regeneration. And we use zebrafish as a model to study these processes. These can be multi-year projects. So in the case of, for example, understanding heart development, our idea is to try and model human congenital heart disease. There are mutations or variants that have been identified in human patients that are thought to be linked to structural heart defects. In terms of studying development, the embryos are fertilized outside the mother and they grow in a dish. For the first 5 days, you can visualize and watch everything under a dish. And so we have easy access to them. We can watch from the one cell stage all the way to adults as how these fish develop. And we can, in this day and age, we can manipulate and change the genome. So all the genes in the zebrafish are highly conserved to a human genome. And so any genes that we have, we're likely to find a counterpart in the fish. And so we can study what those genes are doing in terms of development, in terms of physiology, in terms of,
There are other research projects going on that focus on other organs such as the liver and kidney.
The research facility is designed to have multiple projects running at the same time. While Dr. Chang's project focuses on the heart, other projects are focusing on other organs such as the liver and kidney. For more information, check out the research facilities page on the University of Pittsburgh's website. For Pitt to the Point, I'm medical reporter Morgan Wilfong. Donnie, Aaron.
Thank you, Morgan. When we get back, we are traveling a bit north to be joined live and hear from our partners over at Riverside High School and what's going on in their area. Also, find out more on a new milestone achieved by a Pitt men's basketball player this weekend as they continue to rise.
And the NFL draft could be making a stop right here in the heart of Pittsburgh in the next few years. And how will this impact the city? All this and more, stick around on Pitt to the Point.
We are indeed driven by the search to expand human understanding, improve health, spur innovation, and stimulate solutions to the greatest needs of modern society. Our collaborative approach has resulted in 229 patents, 28 startups, and 649 invention disclosures over the past 2 years. Pitt's research delivers impact.
I'm driven by the search to find a cure for blindness.
I study galaxies to help you understand the universe.
We work on vaccines because vaccines change the world.
I help people fight for their rights through music.
I'm driven by the search to make the world more accessible and inclusive for people with disabilities.
We are creating new technologies for autonomous space systems.
I'm bridging research and practice to advance racial justice.
We are driven by the search.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. Let's take a look at the forecast for this weekend.
Well, I'm kind of over the bipolar weather of this city. We went from getting snow last weekend to temps in the 50s earlier this week. This weekend will be a bit all over the place as well, with a beautiful day in the 50s today, dropping to the low 30s tomorrow. and back up to a sunny 40-degree Sunday.
This week for our college and high school segment, we are checking over at Riverside High School. Aaron, have you ever thought about making your own dining room table or couch?
I must say, Donnie, that has never crossed my mind. I'm not a big handy woman.
Well, I think these students at Riverside can teach us a few things. Let's see how these students are carving new pieces into their homes.
Good morning, Pitt to the
What do
Point.
you have for
I'm
us
Emma
today?
Fellman. And I'm Isabella D'Alessandro. And we are seniors here at Riverside High School. Riverside is an hour drive north of Pittsburgh and Beaver County between the towns of Zelienople and Elwood City. This year's graduating class is 100 students, and we participate in Class AA athletics. Emma and I are both enrolled in CHS broadcasting class. In this week's Riverside Spotlight, we are going to look at another popular elective here at RHS. In this week's Riverside Spotlight, we are featuring students' projects in advanced woodshop classes. We have several students are learning a craft and building custom furniture. Cabinets, tables, beds, and more, all made from hardwoods. Every project starts as rough cut lumber. Students will learn how to use tools and machines. This includes CNC machines such as the router and laser engraver. Students will apply stains and finish. Before students take their projects home at the end of the school year, they will be on display for a week in the library classroom during the Riverside High School Fine Arts Fair.
I'm making a dining room table. The bottom's going to be made out of solid red oak, and it's going to be stained dark walnut once it gets close to finish, and use it as a brand new dining room table and pass it on for the years to come.
Students follow a set of plans that are like blueprints.
I'm making a king-size bed. It's fully made out of cherry. And these slats here, I combined them and just made one center panel. I laser engraved it, and eventually I'm going to have it in my house someday.
Woodshop is one of several industrial technology classes offered to students here at Riverside.
We also have metal shop, drafting and design, graphic arts, power tech. For RHS TV, I'm Emma.
And I'm Isabella.
Thank you for having us on today.
Thank you so much, guys. What do you think is the most interesting piece you all have seen there so far?
One of my classmates actually made an epoxy resin table that he will be using and can pass down for generations to come.
Wow, that's awesome.
And how do you think a skill like wood shopping is beneficial to learn now in high school?
By using the tools and machines, the students here learn hands-on skills for the future.
That's amazing.
And have your parents decided to make room in the house for your new furniture pieces at all?
Yeah, they are super excited for the new furniture we have for the house.
Well, we look forward to seeing these amazing pieces at the Fine Arts at the end of the year. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This week for our newest segment on Pitt to the Point is crossing over from rural to urban areas.
David Sanchez and Kristen Kanthak work together towards sustainable development in Fayette County with the Appalachian Regional Commission, or ARC. The ARC strengthens economic growth in Appalachia. Check it out.
My name is Dave Sanchez. I'm at the Pitt Swanson School of Engineering and the Mosquero Center for Sustainable Innovation. I'm currently working on a project with the Appalachia Regional Commission on sustainable development for Fayette County.
I'm Chris Kantak. I'm Associate Professor in the Political Science Department here at the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, and I'm working on an interdisciplinary project with colleagues in the business school, in urban studies, and in engineering.
Undergraduates are, by definition, interdisciplinary. They have majors, but they're taking classes from all over the place. And one of the things I think we've really learned in this project is that the students themselves will get together and work with each other and come up with ideas that would be really different from anything that we could come up with from our silos. But what's been surprising to me in this project is how, in many ways, we're interested in the same kinds of ideas. So the notion of infrastructure to me means things like political institutions, right? So what does the county's political structure look like? Who's voting for whom?
When I think of infrastructure, it is literally the physical infrastructure, right? The critical lifelines that allow a community to thrive. So how do they get their water? How do they remove their waste? I think one of the challenges with this type of work, as exciting as it is and as enthusiastic as we are, is that it's not very natural in higher ed for the disciplines to cross or the disciplines to even collaborate on major projects. You really have to work at it.
Well, the NFL draft might be coming to our very own city in the next few years. The Pittsburgh Steelers have put in a bid to host either the 2026 or 2027 draft. This could give the city a chance to make hundreds of millions of dollars in economic revenue.
Our business and technology reporter, Kayla Patterson, has more information on the future of the draft and its possible impact. Kayla?
Thank you, Donnie. The Pittsburgh Steelers have officially submitted their bid to host the NFL draft in either 2026 or 2027. The last time the city held the event was back in 1948. This three-day frenzy will change the lives of young football stars and will change and break the record revenue of Pittsburgh.
Taylor Swift broke the attendance record at Acrisure Stadium with 73,117 fans that traveled to watch her Eras tour with hit songs like Lover. The prior stadium record was made in September of 2022 by the Backyard Brawl. This historic football rivalry between Pitt and West Virginia hosted a sellout crowd of nearly 67,000 people. The 2023 NFL Draft was held in Kansas City. The city was filled with 312,000 people and great food. To happen, a structure had to be built for the draft while the NFL partnered with small local businesses.
The NFL, in partnership with the Kansas City Sports Commission, recently launched its Business Connect program, looking for up to 100 local and diverse businesses.
This year's NFL Draft in late April will be held in Detroit. It will be the first time this city is hosting the draft, as they have programs such as football clinics and flag football for young athletes. The preparations for this event is hefty, but the people and fans of the Motor City are on the clock for greatness. I was able to sit down with Steelers beat writer Nick Faribaugh to learn more about the projections Pittsburgh has slated for the draft in the upcoming years.
The projections think it should be probably even more than $165 million. Theoretically, it's exceeding $200 million bringing to the city in tourism money. So it should be a huge economic boon for the city of Pittsburgh, which is why it makes sense, obviously, to hold it here.
Bartis Park and Home Plaza areas will be home to the 2024 NFL Draft. The economic impact for Detroit is around $200 million and expecting 300,000 people to travel to the downtown. The Motor City is preparing their city for the draft by investing $5.5 million to improvements and upgrades. Last year's draft in Kansas City hauled in about $164 million, while Tennessee still stays on top with getting $222 million in 2019. Pittsburgh is slated to have about $160 million, if not more, which will record for their biggest economic payout ever. The nationwide attended and televised event will captivate the city and paint a pretty picture of Pittsburgh for all to see. It's not a matter of if, but when the Steel City will be able to host the NFL Draft and have its biggest payout ever. So for all you users out there, stay tuned, because in May, the NFL committee will meet and decide which city will the NFL Draft be traveling to in 2026. For business and technology reporter, I am Kayla Patterson. I turn to Pitt sports reporter Risa Campbell. Risa?
Thanks, Kayla. The Pittsburgh Panthers men's basketball team is on a huge rise, as the team is currently number 56 in net rankings and currently sits as the 7th ranked team in the ACC. One key player, Blaine Hinson, has not only motivated his teammates to play hard on the court, but has also reached an individual milestone. On February 18th, Pitt crushed the Louisville Cardinals 86-59, with 41 points coming from Hinson. And with a driving layup scored towards the middle of the first half of the game, Hinton surpassed 1,000 points, making him the fourth fastest Panther to ever reach 1,000. Before the Louisville game, Hinton had scored 179 three-pointers in his career, making him the ACC's leading three-point shooter and fifth leading scorer. And after scoring a total of 68 points over the course of 2 games, Hinton has earned Oscar Roberts National Player of the Week, as well as ACC Player of the Week for the second time this season. Hinton's drive and energy is reflecting well onto his teammates, as the Panthers have now won 7 of their last 9 games. The Panthers look to play Virginia Tech this Saturday, February 24th at 5:30 p.m. here at the Peterson Events Center. In other exciting basketball news, the University of Pittsburgh has just announced a few days ago that they will be hosting this year's regional of the basketball tournament. The basketball tournament is the $1 million 64-team winner-takes-all event and will occur here at Pitt for the first time ever in 2024. I had the wonderful opportunity of speaking with CEO and founder John Mugar on what success TBT has seen over the past 10 years and what TBT plans to bring to Pitt over the summer. So, what inspired you to start the basketball tournament, and how did it initially get started?
I was texting back and forth with a childhood friend of mine named Dan Friel about 11 years ago now on a Sunday. We were both off from work, and we usually hypothesize about different sporting events and ideas that we have. And this idea was, what do you think would happen if you put $50 million on the table and invited any basketball team in the world to play for it? Would LeBron come out? Would the Lakers play? Would Duke play? Would Pitt play? Would guys at the YMCA be able to compete? Would women be able to compete? And there's something about that free-for-all model that was all-inclusive and extremely high stakes that appealed to us, because professional sports gets more and more professional and less high stakes, I think, as it grows. And so we pursued that, and it became more realistic than 50 million. It became $1 million winner take all. And here we are 10 years later.
Yeah, no, that's definitely amazing to just hear that it started from something like just from a simple text message and became something like huge. So like over the past 10 years, the basketball tournament has expanded into something revolutionary. Over 400 games have occurred. You paid out over $10 million in prizes. You collaborated with many large corporate partners such as ESPN and other companies. So what does this major accomplishment look like for you as founder and CEO?
It's hard to have envisioned we'd be where we are. I don't think we really looked this far ahead. So like in TBT, I think for the first 3 years alone, every single venue we tried to play in said no to us, even though we were renting them. But I think for us, every day we're trying to make improvements on a daily basis. So we don't really take much time to take our head up and look around and see where we are. I think we see a massive opportunity in growing the format, which is basically all that high stakes, open to all. It's inclusivity and games of consequence and meaning, and doing that across multiple sports. So we launched our soccer tournament last year. In addition to basketball, we now have 2, and then we just launched our women's soccer tournament a few weeks ago. So we're expanding this model out, and I think as we envision our future, it'll encapsulate many different sports.
Yeah, thank you. So then this year, TBT is coming to the University of Pittsburgh, which students here, like myself at Pitt, are incredibly excited to see, as well as the zoo crew being able to manage the event. What does this year's tournament look like? How do you think the University of Pittsburgh will create a loud energy to draw attention to this year's event?
We just announced our 8 regionals, and we have 4 returning regionals and then 4 new ones, of which Pitt is one. So we're always incredibly excited to come to new places like Pitt, to see what the fan base is like over the summer, because it's a wildly different fan base than the winter. And we often draft off the excitement and the unexpected in the arena. And if fans show up and show out for Pitt, we know this is a place we're going to be for a long time.
It definitely, Pitt is very excited to host the regional tournament. We have such a wide student fan base within the Oakland Zoo, and especially like how you said, since it's going to be during the summer, it's leading into football season. So a lot of students are going to be more excited and more hyped to, kick off other seasons of sports. We really appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much for your time. The TBT Regional will be held by the Pitt alumni team Zoo Crew, whose roster will feature former Panther legends Jamel Artis and Jamaris Burton. The regional will be held here at the Peterson Event Center from July 19th to July 24th. From Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt Sports reporter Risa Campbell. And now we turn to our City Sports reporter Megan O'Connell. Megan.
Thanks, Risa. In Pirates news, pitcher Mitch Keller agreed to a 5-year contract extension for $77 million and was named opening day starter for the second consecutive year in a row. Keller is hoping for another all-star year for the Buccos in hopes of another successful season. And as the iconic film Slapshot celebrates its 47th anniversary, the legacy of this classic hockey film remains as vibrant as ever, particularly in the steel town of Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Being one of the greatest cult movies talked about to this day and its vast connections to the Pittsburgh area, we here at Pitt to the Point had the chance to hear from one of the famous Hanson brothers, David Hanson, more formally known as Jack Hanson, one of the stars of Slapshot, in an exclusive interview.
I played the intelligent, good-looking Jack Hanson, number 16 of the Hanson brother trio. The three brothers, the Hanson brothers that were characters in the movie, were actually three brothers in real life, Jeff, Jack, and Steve Carlson, who were playing with us at the time. And it was the character in the movie called Dave Killer Carlson was in real life Dave Killer Hanson on the team. So the plan was to go back and see about having the Carlson brothers read for and potentially play the parts of the Hanson brothers, and Dave Hanson read for and play the part of Killer Carlson in the movie. As things worked out, one of the brothers went up to Edmonton, got signed with Edmonton Oilers to go play for the Oilers when we got around the screen to start wanting to film. So they just plucked me out of my role and threw me in as one of the brothers and put a pair of glasses on me and said, "Hey, you look just like those ugly buggers." Johnstown was the only place that had a dog in a park of all the places that Henry Bumstead was looking for to film Johnstown at. So it was based on that dog being in that park that they decided to film at Johnstown. You know, humor never dies. It's great action. It's politically incorrect, which, in today's world is sometimes refreshing, So I just think it continues to stand the test of time. That it's just everything that someone, that enjoys humor, enjoys sports, and even if, particularly enjoys hockey, have to watch Slapshot, and they never watch it once, right?
Unfortunately, Paul D'Amato, best known for his lead appearance in the Slapshot film, passed away after a hard-fought battle with progressive supranuclear palsy, a rare brain disease, this past Monday. On behalf of the Pitt to the Point team, we send our deepest condolences to his friends and family. And as we celebrate the legacy of Slapshot and its impact on hockey culture, let us remember the lessons that it taught us, that no matter how tough the competition, no matter how dire the circumstances, as long as we dare to persevere and find the strength to stand together, victory is always within reach. This is Pittsburgh, where the love of hockey runs deep and the legacy of Slapshot lives on. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Sports reporter Megan O'Connell. Donnie, Aaron.
Thank you so much, Megan. Such a great message. Don't go anywhere. In just a bit, we'll be taking a closer look at our regional campus of Pitt Greensburg and how they recently hosted their wing extravaganza on campus. Not only did they unveil the wings across the Westmoreland installation, they also took the word wings seriously. More on that later.
That's right. You just might get to see Aaron and I test out some wing sauces ourselves.
Oh, geez, I got to pull up my water. I don't do great with spicy foods. We'll be right back.
We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit toward it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt, proud partner of the ACC.
Thanks for sticking with us for Donnie and I's last show as anchors on Pitt to the Point.
It's time to turn it over to our regional campus reporter, Lily Peters, to find out more about Pitt Greensburg and their wing extravaganza that took place this past Wednesday. It had everything from new art to chicken wings. Lily?
Thank you, Donnie. Now, this Wednesday, Pitt Greensburg, in honor of their Pitt Day of Giving, they hosted a wing extravaganza, which included events such as an unveiling of Westmoreland County's wings and a hot sauce trivia challenge for everyone to enjoy. The campus dining services made 5 homemade hot sauces for the event, and luckily I got to go and try them out. It was truly a fun time for everyone. The wing extravaganza started with an unveiling of Westmoreland County's artwork of Wings for Pitt Greensburg.
The Westmoreland Cultural Trust had contacted Pitt Greensburg. Greensburg would be a great place to include one of these installations as well. It's something that happens out here in Westmoreland County as well, where there are a couple just scattered throughout the county.
The artwork on the wings reflected Pitt Greensburg's iconic images. These images include the logo, the bridge, the clock, and the bobcat. It's safe to say these wings will become an important part of campus tradition. Like these wings behind me, you'll be sure to love all of the wings that are inside. I had the opportunity to try these wings and test my spice tolerance with Pitt Greensburg's 5 hot sauces. Ready or not, Honey It's Hot, Blazin' Bobcat, Notorious GBG, and Jamaican Me Hot. Trying these sauces came with Pitt Greensburg's trivia. For every question I answered wrong, I had to try an even hotter sauce than the previous one. For someone who can't handle the heat, this was not the challenge for me. Not only were the wings for the students, Pitt Greensburg included the community as well.
We're part of the community. Greensburg is in our name, University of Pittsburgh at Greensburg. So we take that very seriously. This community gives us a lot, and I believe in return we give the community a lot.
Now, I had the opportunity to bring back these hot sauces for Aaron and Donnie, and we're gonna try 3 today. So our first sauce is called Ready or Not, and it is a Korean barbecue style sauce. This is gonna be our mildest sauce, so you guys are in luck for the first one. Let's see what they think. Thoughts?
This one is kind of spicy, but it's good.
It's from being the most mild, it's still pretty spicy.
Well, let's move on to our next one. It's called Blazin' Bobcat, and it is a smooth traditional style buffalo sauce with a little bit of a kick.
I like that one.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
Okay. And our third and final sauce is going to be our hottest sauce. And this is called Jamaican Me Hot. And it is layers of heat and flavor with chilies in the sauce.
Ooh, this
It's
is
pretty
like
good.
garlicky.
Yeah.
It's hot though.
Okay. So I have to ask, what is your favorite sauce?
Definitely the buffalo.
You definitely think the buffalo?
They were all really good though.
Hot sauces at 7 a.m.
Definitely spicy.
Why not? And just what is your wing preference? Are you bone in, bone out?
Definitely bone in.
Okay.
Bone in, and I would definitely take the sauce.
Definitely the buffalo.
Okay. For more information on wings across Westmoreland County, visit Pitt Greensburg's website. For Pitt to the Point, I'm regional campus reporter Lily Peters.
Thank you, Lily. Make sure to refill your coffee. We still have more news for you on this beautiful February morning. When we return from the break, we'll be taking a closer look at one of our clubs here on campus.
That's right. You won't want to miss this segment. See how this group of college students are using their imagination and spreading it around to our children of our area. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning. Imagine being here in the Commons Room or Nationality Room.
What do you think?
So what do you think? Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt. Proud member of the ACC.
Out of over 600 clubs and organizations on campus, this one might be my favorite.
Me too. This organization brings a little bit of magic everywhere they go in the Pittsburgh community. Let's take a closer look at the Imagination Project and how they bring joy to the kids that need it most.
The Imagination Project is an organization, a service organization here at Pitt. We dress up as beloved childhood characters such as princesses, superheroes, princes, and we visit kids in healthcare settings, at fundraising walks, community events, and we bring joy and magic to kids. But we do a brief audition process. We don't ask people to be professional actors or singers. We ask people to have enthusiasm and portray their characters with a lot of knowledge about the details of the character's story, possibly an accent if a character has an accent. It's a brief 10-minute audition process, and then we have a specific board member that is in charge of picking who gets to play what character and then training those characters.
For me, it's a little bit different than going as a character because I go as a character assistant. So I just go in my normal clothing, there for our characters if they need anyone, or to talk to people from the hospital, talk to parents, family of the children we are visiting.
I wanted to be a part of this club because when I was younger, I had a family friend who had a brain tumor. He got to go to Magic Kingdom for his Make-A-Wish project, and he came back with this photo book just full of like autographs and signatures from all of his favorite characters. Made him so happy. And I know that a lot of kids don't get to go to Magic Kingdom. Maybe they can't leave their rooms, or they're not deemed like sick enough to get to go to Magic Kingdom. It's nice to be able to bring that happiness to them.
Well, Pittsburgh is known for having some fun festivities, and the destination for all things pickles has just been announced.
That's right, Picklesburgh will be back in town once again this summer.
The festival will return July 19th through the 21st at the Boulevard of the Allies in downtown Pittsburgh.
Be sure to visit the #1 voted specialty food festival in the country to celebrate 3 packed days of events, music, and of course, pickles. If I find myself back in Pittsburgh this summer, I just might have to attend. Don't forget, Pitt to the Point airs every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on the University of Pittsburgh website, as well as the Pitt to the Point website.
You can also watch a re-air of the show on Saturday morning at 10:30 on CBSN. That is KDKA's streaming platform. Make sure you all tune in.
The time has sadly come when we have to say goodbye, and goodbye for good this time.
I know, Erin, it's our last time anchoring, and words can't describe how much fun these last 4 weeks have been.
I have to say, it's been amazing waking up with you guys every Friday, and I couldn't have asked for a better partner, Donnie.
Oh, thank you so much, Erin. It's been amazing doing this with you.
Time really flies when you're having fun, but we can't forget about all of those clubs we said we were going to try.
I know. We have some MMA clubbing, law practicing, and some women magazines to look into before this semester is over.
I agree. I'm sure I can find time somewhere, although I already have way too many clubs on my hands. Well, I just want to thank from the bottom of my heart all of you for tuning in with us every single week, and every single person here at Pitt to the Point on camera and behind the scenes for making this show so special.
Thank you guys so much for watching and helping each one of us grow, whether our dreams are to be on air or behind the scenes. So for one last time, I am Donnie Blackwell.
And I'm Erin Clark. You'll see some new faces on Pitt to the Point next time. Bye.
Bye.